Hey, it's Eric Hultgren, and on this episode of the podcast, Dana Wagner from Discover Kalamazoo stops by to talk about what's happening in K-Zoo.
On this episode of the podcast, we're talking to Dana Wagner from Discover Kalamazoo. How you doing?
I'm doing great here. This is so fun. This is my first ESTO experience. So
fantastic. Okay, so you are within an hour. So for those here at the conference that, want to travel a little bit, what does Kalamazoo have to offer?
Yeah, well, you can get to us very easily. We are just less than an hour south here of where we're at, and there's a bit of everything for whatever your interests are. So if you're into, I know we're here in Beer City in Grand Rapids. We are home of Bell's Brewery in Kalamazoo, so you can come further down and keep the the beer trail going with stuff. And we have amazing museums and attractions as well. Home to the Air Zoo, Air and Space Museum, and the Gilmore Car Museum, which is North America's largest automobile museum.
Oh, wow.
And is absolutely spectacular. Like, absolutely spectacular.
Have you been out there?
Yes, I have. Yes, I love it. So
and it's not just all like indoors either, like you would think of a typical museum. They have such a huge, expansive campus there. I'm not going to say the acreage because I'll probably get it wrong, but it is huge, and they have car shows all the time. Like, you cannot go there on a weekend during the summer and the fall, and there's nothing going. Like, there is something different every weekend going on. And Wednesday nights they have these drive-ins. So like all the lawns get taken over with all the really cool vehicles.
Dana, how did you end up where you are now? Like, tell us your origin story about how you ended up being with Discover Kalamazoo. Like, how did you end up in this chair right this very second?
Well, I'm originally from the east side of the state of Michigan, but I came over to the Kalamazoo area to attend college. We have Western Michigan University there, but I went to the little school next door, Kalamazoo College.
Yep.
And I was fortunate to stay in the area after graduation and worked for Gazelle Sports, which also has a location up in Grand Rapids here, and fell into managing events. And so I was managing 5Ks and helping with the Kalamazoo Marathon there. And from there, got to work with our radio stations, Town Square Media, and putting on now big festivals, music events, Rib Fest. And from there then worked with our local baseball team, the Kalamazoo Growlers, was then doing festivals and events there. And April of 2020 is when I started at Discover Kalamazoo, and I can honestly say it was and still is my dream job, because it has brought together all of the wonderful things that I've done in the Kalamazoo community, and now I can still be a part of helping promote all of those organizations and events and do even more.
So quickly before Paige jumps in with a question, I want to let you know we've done 10 episodes so far of this podcast. 8 people on these podcasts started their job literally a minute into the pandemic. So there is a bunch of you out here that you could form a super group of people who started their job at literally the worst possible time to start at a DMO.
So you've been in Kalamazoo for a while. What are some of the, I guess, more local favorite areas that you like to highlight that not all tourists know about?
Yeah, well, so we market Kalamazoo County as a whole, and a lot of people may not know that our name of our county is the same as the name of the city downtown. Sure. So there are many wonderful parts of our county that are outside of the city of Kalamazoo, like the Air Zoo that I mentioned, for example. That's in Portage. Also nearby to Pfizer, who help manufacture the vaccines. Their headquarters are right there in Portage. I actually live in the south part of the county, in the city of Vicksburg. And Vicksburg has its own charming downtown area. Distant Whistle Brew House is there. So again, if you're looking for other great breweries, we have a historic village in Vicksburg, which has about 8 different buildings. Some are replicas, some, like the train depot, are the original historic buildings. And it's just kind of going back in time too, and experiencing, what life might have been like in the pioneer days. And there's just charming local businesses too that you can you don't have, if you're not looking for like the urban downtown experience, if you want to kind of take a little break, do something maybe a little relaxing, see those charming small towns. We've got Richland and Galesburg and Schoolcraft, and then the nature too. I love to point out that you can have the best of both worlds, because you have the exciting downtown when you want maybe that live entertainment, great place to eat, but then you can within minutes be able to enjoy some of the most beautiful, hiking trails and nature preserves and kayaking, out on the river, or the lakes that we have in the area too. So we're just under an hour away from Lake Michigan, but even within the Kalamazoo County area, there's so many amazing lakes, and you can still get your water experiences too without the drive,
All right, so we are here at ESTO, and as you mentioned, it's your first time. What are you hoping to take away from this experience?
Honestly, I since this is my first time, I've been told that this is an awesome conference to attend as a marketing professional, and so I love the networking with people, but I'm also hoping to kind of take away some cool new ideas we have these destinations, people from different destinations here from all over the country, and what an opportunity to be able to kind of hear from others and kind of see, similarities maybe to some of the challenges we're facing, but also how people are approaching those differently maybe, and just kind of generating new ideas from things.
As we've been talking to other DMOs, trying to figure out, we're reaching whatever is next. I won't say normal, because we're not necessarily getting back to normal, but whatever is next. What's the destination feel been like this year? Are you guys up? And if so, what are people doing? And what does it look like?
Yeah. So actually at this time last year, what was in July and then the month of August we had record-breaking hotel demand.
Oh, wow.
Which I think previously the highest hotel demand was in 2009, 2010. So we're seeing just these huge demand numbers, but it was a lot of leisure travel. So people taking those road trips, weekend kind of getaway. And when you can work remotely too for more jobs now, people were able to come and kind of combine business and leisure and maybe see some new destinations. So we saw, just an increased demand definitely last summer. And then that's been happening again this year, although not to quite the same levels, I think. And we've been having meetings and events back. This past weekend, our Kalamazoo Rib Fest was back after being gone for 2 years.
Awesome.
Bringing in national rib vendors too from around the country. So it's good to have those events back. Have the meetings and conferences coming back, and sports events too. We have the United States Tennis Association, the boys 16 and 18 nationals have been happening for over 70 years in Kalamazoo, and that's going on right now. And so that's being able to have these events back and people coming to our area is wonderful.
What is one thing in your eyes that Kalamazoo would improve upon? What is something that you think would be good to have that you could, if you had a magic wand and you think that would be the perfect thing?
Oh gosh, that's a hard question, because I feel like we do have a bunch of amazing things already. That, like I said, there's kind of a little bit of everything that you're looking for. I guess that wouldn't be maybe a thing to have, but I would just like for more people to know. Yeah, I guess, about our destination and the things that we have there for everyone.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you so much, Dana.
Thank you.